All right, guys, in this video, I want to talk about how last week was one of the worst weeks in the stock market and how it shows a lot of flaws in the system. So I originally named it how a bunch of people lose a bunch of money and how you can profit from it. But I didn't want to seem like a profiteer, and I actually made this script about a week ago, and I just didn't feel comfortable posting it last week. There was so much volatility, and at the time, it was at its all-time peak, which was like Sunday, I think it was last week, when it was at its very peak. And so I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, I just didn't want to come off as just all the other people that are just, I don't know, just betting against it, because I definitely don't want people to lose money, but unfortunately, it's just the way it was set up. It was just like a stack of, like a house of cards. Like, eventually it was just going to fall. And everybody knew it, and that's what really bothered me about the whole thing that happened last week. And then, people were loving it, people were hating it. I mean, it just was not a good week for financial system. But I also want to do a disclaimer. I'm not a professional advisor. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a profiteer. I have no money in this Gamestop fiasco. I'm simply a sideline quarterback. I like to observe what's going on and just kind of see, like, what are the principles involved, what caused it, how can we prevent it, things like that. So if you don't know what's going on, last week, just a group of financial renegades from a Reddit group called wallstreetbets, or I heard somebody call them Wall Street Bros, and I thought that was pretty funny. They decided to take on some hedge funds that had short sold GameStop, if you don't know what short stopping is, this is not the video to explain all that, because I'm definitely not an expert in that. But shortly after that, Robinhood, the trading app, a lot of them were using it, limited purchasing, and it was this big old fiasco, and they had to kind of explain why they did that this week. But then shortly after that, a few other stocks started to shoot up as I started boosting them up too. And it was just like a domino effect. All these other, like AMC and all these other stocks started to rise up because of Reddit and all this other stuff. So I guess that was the good thing, is people were at least taking more control of their finances, if nothing else. But I just think they were using the wrong way to go about that. And the biggest problem is people were buying solely on emotion. And I actually this week I started re-listening to The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. I've tried to read it like 3 times before. I think the furthest I ever got was halfway through, and I'm about halfway through right now, so it's all sounding familiar. So I can't wait to get past all that and start listening to stuff I haven't read yet. And the other times I tried to read it, and I think that was my biggest mistake. This time I'm just trying to listen to it. Maybe I can get through it all. And then there's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of theoretical, and then the version I'm reading has some edited versions. So there's I think like 4 or 5 different versions of it already out, because the book was written like 100 years ago. But the main thing they talk about is not buying on emotion, and that's what everybody did. It's really hard to time the markets. Even the most seasoned investors can't time the markets perfectly. So that's the biggest takeaway I've gotten from the book. Like I said, I'm only halfway through, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it. And my goal was to read it all this week, but it was just too much. I think it's like 10 hours of listening, and I just didn't have 10 hours to allocate. But that was my goal, was to listen to it all before I posted this video, but it was just too much. So I apologize, guys. And this is by far is not an educational video for investments in stocks, so I apologize if that's what you came here for. It's just my simple opinion on everything going on. So back to that, the second problem is now GameStop is extremely overpriced because it just doesn't justify the value. So if you know much about value investing, and that's really what Benjamin Graham talks about, is like I said, I'm not going to go on the details because I'm definitely not an expert in that category. It just, everybody knew it was overpriced. I mean, it went from $6 to, like, I don't remember the total amount. Now it's down to $63. That may be a fair price. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't researched the stock, but so that's the biggest thing, is people were buying strictly on emotion. It doesn't justify the value of it, so that was the biggest problem. And then the third problem is that when people buy on emotion, they will sell on emotion. So it was just a matter of time before some people started cashing out So A, to make a profit, or B, to lose. The biggest problem with that is there's really only two simple things that motivate people. If you break everything down to what motivates people, it's going towards pleasure and away from pain. That's it. If you look at why we eat, why we marry, why we don't marry, it's those two things. If you break it down into two main categories, and then there's infinite number of subcategories. But it's just avoiding pain and towards pleasure. That's it. So in the Wall Street world, in the financial world, it's greed and it's fear. Those are the only two things, and that's why it's so hard to time the markets. And I'm just a big a fan of value-based investing because it's more long-term, and I'll kind of talk about that here later on. But here's my predictions of, and these are actually from last week, and some of them already came true, but some of them still haven't yet. One, the media is going to start posting stories that will motivate people to sell. I knew they would start appealing to people's greed, meaning like, hey, you make a bunch of money off the stocks you just bought. It's at its all-time high. You better make that money now. You bought it at $6, now it's $300 or whatever the dollar amount was. You started hearing stories about this kid who had like 5 shares or 10 shares, I think it was, and was able to buy all kinds of stuff with it. You hear about, this guy who bought like toys off of his winnings and donated them to the children's hospital. All these like pleasure-based sell tactics. And I'm not saying the media is manipulating anybody. I'm not saying that. But the other thing too is they were going to start posting, well, the fall is near, stuff like that. I didn't really see that many fear-based ones, but I also don't follow all the MSNBC, CNBC, all the financial Fox Business News. So who knows, that there might have been more fear-based stories there. But like I said, I'm definitely not an investor. I'm not a person that was qualified to give that information. But like I said, I just like to observe what's going on with that. And then I also, in the second prediction I have, is the SEC will investigate this matter, and I think people will go to jail. I could be wrong. I saw another article about it today, how they may investigate like who caused it, what led up to it, things like that. I don't know. There's always people investigating different things. I think that's just going to be one of the things they observe and investigate. And then third, other hedge fund companies, especially when it was all-time high, are going to short sell it and make millions off of just the massacre that's going to happen when people start selling. I'm pretty sure that happened. I mean, it would be idiotic not to, especially when it was at its peak. I mean, who's to say it's going to keep going up? And I know I had 2 peaks, and like I said, I didn't memorize the prices just because I knew I tend to read numbers off wrong when I'm speaking out loud, so I didn't want to make any mistakes. So I was like, I'm just going to ignore the actual numbers and just talk theoretically and just how everything worked out and how I believe it's going to work out. So, but this is just another reminder not to depend on the stock market casino for investing. But I mean, if you want to gamble, go ahead. Sure. I mean, like I said, I have a few stocks, definitely not thousands or anything like that. And the stocks, the 2 sources I use, and just to be fair and just to be fully transparent, I literally just have the minimum deposits, and then one of the stocks, I'm losing my words. One of the apps I have, which is the Robinhood app, which is in the news, is when your friends join, you get a stock, they get a stock, and so I've gotten some shares off of that, just sharing it with friends, sharing it on Facebook, sharing it on YouTube videos and stuff like that. And then, like I said, I did the minimum deposit, so I'm by far not an investor with them. But I think it's easy to buy and sell off their one. The other one I just got like less than a month ago was Webull. Same thing. I just got the 2 free shares. And then, and if you sign up through this link too, you'll get 2 free shares too. And same thing, I just did the minimum deposit. So by far not what's the word I'm looking for? A seasoned investor. I'm literally just learning and just trying to share the information as I learn it, hopefully to help you if you're in the same path that I'm going towards. But I just that's just been my experience. But what I believe in, what I'm more passionate about, is I use Acorn for just a safer place to put money. And what I really like about it is they automate it. So, the money that I honestly, I feel like I haven't even put money into it, because I really just put the automation money into it. And then also they have a bunch of different ways to earn extra money. Like I think I got like $7 or $10 or $5 when I got Disney Plus through them. They called it, I forget what it's called, Acorn Earned or something like that. Acorn Rewards. It's basically like a reward system. And I probably I probably got like $40 from that. So it's just extra money. But yeah, so like I said, I've used the automation. It rounds up, and then they have some other ways so it just makes it really simple to start saving money. And then they also set it up to an ETF or EFT. I always mess those 3 letters up. Very safe investment. And it shows me there too how much my earnings have increased just off of putting money in there. So they make it super, super simple to save money. And what I like about it is it's worry-free. I have no idea what stocks are in there. I don't even pay attention. I honestly, I just signed up for the account, set it up to my bank, and they just keep it very simple. And over the last less than a year, I want to say it's went up like 7 or 8%. I can't remember. Like I said, I don't even check. I just set it and forget it. So it's very simple. I highly recommend you use it. I'll leave a link in this video for you to watch that too, or for you to sign up for that too if you don't have it. And like I said, guys, I have no idea what's going to happen with GameStop, but here are what my opinions are on how to save the stock and the company. 1, GameStop buys one of their competitors or a similar company. 2, a competitor buys GameStop. Really, that's the only way. I just don't see it as a viable market unless they transition to digital. If you guys have ever been to a GameStop, they're always in like shopping centers, and they're just never nobody I don't think anyone is passionate about GameStop. I could be wrong. I know people love games, but I think people just go there looking for a bargain. And we all know, I'm sure you probably heard, they pay pennies on the dollar. You can turn in a brand new game system and you'll get much less than you would get if you were to sell it in like Facebook Marketplace or things like that. So they're just notorious for just not offering a lot of money for their games and then reselling them for a profit, which I know they're a business and that's what they're supposed to do. But when you're a young kid and you're just trying to get money back from this game that you already played and beat and have no purpose of using again, and they're offering you like $5 for a game you paid $80 for, whatever it may be, it's kind of embarrassing. But especially because they're going to try to go back and sell it for $50 or whatever it may be. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like I said, this was not an educational, or this was not this is not educational. This is just entertainment based, and I hope you enjoyed it. But thanks for watching. Bye.